His Excellency to address you, then I will say something at the end, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Dr. Narendra Raval Guru, Chairman of Devki Group of Companies, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our brothers and sisters, the great people of Uganda, Hamjambo. Yoga osi kere ingarete osi emuria koliae. It is my singular honor to preside over the launch, together with my elder brother, President Museveni, on the launch of the vertical integrated steel industry project here in Tororo, eastern Uganda. We convene here not just to convene a factory or commission a factory, but we usher in a new, audacious chapter in Africa's industrialization ambition. This project is the outcome of visionary leadership, daring entrepreneurship, and enduring partnership between the private sector and our two governments. It reflects a collective commitment to sustainable development, regional integration, and the pursuit of transformative impact for our present and future generations. Your Excellency, I take this opportunity to congratulate you on this remarkable milestone and to commend your steadfast commitment to industrialization and championing transformative investments. The testimony by the chair of Devki Group of Companies of your commitment, of your encouragement, of your foresight on the establishment of this investment is a clear testimony of your leadership in our region. Mr. President, I recall with profound appreciation the discussion we have held on this project since its inception, and most recently during your official visit to Kenya in July this year. In the spirit of our enduring friendship and brotherhood, we reaffirmed our shared commitment to bringing into fruition and to jointly presiding over its commissioning that we do here today. I equally commend my brother and friend, His Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, whose enduring advocacy for regional integration within the East African community has provided the enabling environment for projects like this one to thrive. And as Guru has said, there is a joint commitment by the government of Kenya, the government of Uganda, and Rwanda to continuously encourage investments that are transnational and that are regional, like this one. As a region and a community, we recognize that the sum of our collective strength far exceeds the power of an individual nation. It is this shared understanding that anchors our commitment to our cooperation in the East African community. Kenya's support for this project reflects its broader ambition to anchor regional industrial integration within the framework of the East African community. This commitment underpins Kenya's vision of a connected and competitive region where value addition, shared infrastructure, and coordinated industrial policies drive sustainable growth and the transformation of our region. By fostering cross-border collaboration in strategic sectors such as steel manufacturing, Kenya seeks to enhance regional sufficiency, promote intra-Africa trade, and strengthen the foundation for collective prosperity under the East Africa Industrialization Strategy. This project will provide jobs for our young people, build new value chains for small and medium enterprises, and create opportunities that extend far beyond Uganda's borders. Already, the Tororo facility currently employs more than 400 workers, with plans to increase workforce within the company to 20,000 by 2027 across our East African operations. Beyond direct job creation, it will open vast opportunities for companies within the East African community, particularly in transport, in energy, in construction, and service sectors through cross-border supply contracts and strategic joint ventures. I take this opportunity to express Kenya's pride in celebrating the vision and enterprise of Dr. Narendra Raval, a distinguished Kenyan industrialist and investor whose commitment, focus, and determination have been instrumental in bringing this industry to life. You remember, Mr. President, that when I introduced Dr. Guru to you, I told you that he is a man who keeps his word. I have worked with him in Kenya. He has made huge investments in our country. 2 years ago, I opened a factory in West Pokot where he had invested $400 million. I broke ground a year ago in Taita Taveta, the facility where he had invested $150 million US. In January, we will be launching the largest clinker facility in Kitui County in Kenya, which will also have an investment of $370 million. To say that is to tell the people of this great country that in Dr. Narendra Raval, you have a committed East African, a man who is ready to meet his or to match his word with his deed. He is one person I have told the people of Kenya, and I will tell us as East Africans, that we must first and foremost believe in ourselves. Very few people can invest the kind of investment that Raval is putting in our region. It takes a man with commitment. It takes a patriot. It takes a person who understands that this investment goes beyond profits and money. It goes to the bottom of humanity, creating opportunities for work for millions of young people, creating opportunities for enterprises, micro, small, and medium enterprises, transporters, business people working in the cement and steel industry. It supports our transformation agenda in our region. And I believe that with the kind of support that we are lending, not just Dr. Raval, but investors, indigenous investors from our region, we will get our region to move in the direction that we've always wanted. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, The steel sector in Africa has become increasingly pivotal in fueling economic progress throughout the continent, with a strong emphasis on bolstering infrastructure, advancing industrialization, and ensuring and enhancing value-added manufacturing. The industry is instrumental in shaping Africa's economic trajectory. Africa's steel market reached a volume of 39.5 million tons in 2024 and is expected to hit a projected volume of 52 million tons by 2034, driven by bolstering infrastructure and advancing industrialization. Our countries are uniquely positioned to make a considerable leap in the regional and international steel market. The journey towards harnessing our steel production capacity not only highlights our abundant mineral resources, especially in iron ore, but also reflects a shifting policy environment and investment landscape aimed at unlocking these resources. With an estimated 20 to 25 billion tons of proven and probable iron ore reserves, Sub-Saharan Africa possesses the natural resources needed not only to meet its rapidly growing domestic demand, but also to position itself as a major global exporter. The establishment of the Tororo steel industry sends a very powerful message that our countries possess both the capacity and the courage to build globally competitive industries that drive Africa's transformation. It embodies the spirit of self-reliance and innovation envisioned in the Africa Union's Agenda 2063 and advances the objectives of African free continental area by fostering regional value addition, industrial growth, and sustainable economic integration. I reiterate that we will work together, and this facility that I take a lot of pride in to participate in its launch is not just a Ugandan facility. It is an East African facility. The steel that is going to come from here, and we appreciate that God has given us resources, and Uganda happens to have the best steel or iron ore reserves. It is therefore befitting that this factory is established here, not just to serve Uganda, but to serve Kenya, East Africa, and the region at large. We currently import in Kenya close to $850 million of steel from the rest of the world. We would be very happy that that $850 million would be in our region if this factory was to supply steel to Kenya. And I am confident that that is how the future is going to look. Let me also commend you, Mr. President, for agreeing to work with us. The ministers were in Nairobi last week, and I have given them appropriate guidance on the need for Uganda and Kenya, public and private, to jointly own the Kenya Pipeline Company, the company that supplies or provides the pipeline for supply of fuel into our region. The government of Kenya will be divesting up to 65%, and I am happy that Uganda is prepared to co-invest with us, because that Kenya pipeline facility is not just a Kenyan facility. It is a regional facility. Therefore, as the government of Uganda invests in the Kenya Pipeline Company, I want to encourage Ugandans and East Africans to equally invest, because we will make shares available both to public entities, but more importantly, to citizens of our region, so that we can diversify ownership of the facilities that we have in our region. Secondly, Mr. President, let me also reiterate that the joint investment of the pipeline from Eldoret through Kampala to the border with DRC and to Rwanda is an advanced stage. The government of Kenya, we have given approval for our two governments to work together to co-invest in extending that line, that pipeline, so that it can serve East Africa as we jointly own that facility. And thirdly, Mr. President, in January, we will be launching the extension of the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Kampala and onward to join the pipeline from Kampala to from Malaba to Kampala and onward to DRC. Again, that investment that we will coordinate the two governments is for us to be able to improve transport and logistics in our region so that we can be better competitive as we seek to be a region that works together. Your Excellency, I am very confident of the progress that we are making as a region. Uganda is the largest destination of goods and services. Last year, we exported close to 120 billion Kenya shillings to this great country. And the bilateral relations between Uganda and Kenya are solid. Let me assure you, Mr. President, that Kenya is going to work with Uganda and other regional partners for the prosperity of this region, to create a much more competitive region, to make sure that we extend the pipeline, to make sure that we co-invest in the pipeline, that we extend the railway. And Mr. President, next week on Friday, I will be launching the dualling of the road from Rironi near Nairobi that will come all the way to Malaba. As you know, Mr. President, today that road is getting slower as traffic increases. And therefore we have made the strategic decision to create a highway and dual that road so that we can facilitate faster movement of goods, people, and services between Kenya, Uganda, and the rest of the East African hinterland. And so I want to assure you that we are going to work together. And I know people in the journalist space, and it is good I speak about it here, tried to create an impression that Uganda had said something to the effect that they need to access the sea by all means. Let me assure the naysayers that Uganda and Kenya are brothers and sisters, and we do not have time for negative engagement. Uganda is assured of the access to the sea through Kenya, and that is why we are not only extending the pipeline, we are also extending the road and we are also extending the railway, because we believe that this region needs to move as one. For those who want to engage us in negative talk, we want to tell them, please give us a break. We do not have time for negative talk. We have time for progress. We want to work together to create jobs. We want to work together to attract investment. We want to work together to do investments like the one I see here today, the ones we are doing in Kenya and doing in the rest of this region. We want to connect this region so that we can share prosperity, because poverty cannot be shared. I reiterate Kenya's readiness to continue working hand in hand with Uganda, Rwanda, and all our East African partners to transform today's milestone into tomorrow's prosperity. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for inviting me to participate with you in this great event. And I want to assure you of the people of Kenya's continued friendship, commitment, and working together for the progress of our region. Thank you very much. God bless you.
His Excellency President Ruto and the visiting delegation, Dr. Guru, and the other investors, all the leaders, and the people of Tororo. Africa has suffered for the last 500 years. First of all, under the attack of the slave traders and the colonialists. And when we started getting independence, which is 70 years ago, with Ghana, Sudan, we can say that Africa has been betrayed in these 70 years. It is very important for all the leaders to audit and see what's happening. Just now, I asked my staff here to check on the internet, which you can all do. What is the size of the GDP of the whole of Africa? My girl here checked on the internet. It is $2.8 trillion. The whole of Africa. What is the size of the GDP of USA? 30 trillion. The United States is a quarter of the land area of Africa, and their population is 1/5. But you here, our wealth, 2.8 trillion, America's wealth, 30 trillion. That's more than 10 times bigger. Now, this is what we saw when we were part of the student movement in the 1960s. And we told leaders at that time what I'm telling you today. And we had to go through many phases, fighting and so on. So when eventually we came into government, we put out the 10 points program of the NRM. And point number 5 was pointing to what is the cause of this stagnation of Africa. The cause is the hemorrhage of development energies from Africa to other parts of the world. Especially, initially the export of slaves, because initially slaves were being exported, labor, free labor was being exported. Then later on, now raw materials. So what we are doing here is not just launching a project. It is part of the liberation process of Africa. It is part of the betrayal, usaliti of Africa. This iron ore, the hematite, which is very pure, some years ago, not in Kabale, but another place called Kanungu, there is also the same hematite there. A group came from India, and they agreed with my local villagers there in Kanungu to export unprocessed iron ore, obtare. I was telling you, Guru, they don't have enough words in English. So I was giving him our words here. Obtare. Obtare is the word for iron ore. So those fellows had agreed with an Indian company to sell obtare to India. And then when I called them, how much are you going to get? $47 a ton. And how much would this Indian get? That time it was like $900 a ton. And then all the jobs would go. You would lose money, you would lose jobs. So what we are doing here is extending what I have done in the whole sector of minerals. I have banned the export of unprocessed minerals, all of them. Let them stay in the ground. If the present generation are asleep, kama watu wale wamelala, labda huko mbele wengine watakuja ambao wako na macho ya kuona. So I want to congratulate Dr. Guru for helping us fulfill our vision of adding value to this butare. Mpigie makofi. Also, congratulate His Excellency President Ruto for encouraging Mr. Guru to come here. Now you have heard the implications of this project. Uganda is now squandering $500 million per year to export flat sheets and the other metals from which we make mabati and make mitayimbwa. Mitayimbwa, Wakenya wanaita mitayimbwa chuma. Chuma. But here, chuma is general word for steel, for metal. But for the steel bars, we can lend here a word called mitayimbwa. That's what we mean by steel bars. I have already told Mr. Guru. So, these raw materials for those intermediate products for Mabati and from Taimbwa are taking much of the money. The other specialized steel, like the one of the railway and the dams, that one we may not go for because we need to be sure about the demand. But for the Mabati and for the Mtaimbwa, we must support Mr. Guru to produce them here, so that, because that's the biggest money that is going, the 500 million. And I hear that East Africa spends 5 billion on steel products, steel imports. You have heard that Kenya spends $800 million. That's what the president told you. So this is really squandering of Africa's resources. That's why you see the GDP is stunted, 2.8 trillion. That's more or less like the GDP of one smaller country like UK. If you see the GDP of UK is maybe about that. But here we are, 1.5 billion people, with presidents, prime ministers, ministers, all sorts of excellencies, but with 2.8 trillion for the whole continent, when the USA has got a GDP of 30 trillion. This is really shameful. So I'm very glad that we are here. You are all part of the liberation process. I want to thank you, Mr. Guru. Thank you very much. And I want to thank you, who makes you do things. And I want to thank His Excellency na Wakenya wote kwa kutuunga mkono kwa hatua hii. Now I'm glad Mr. Guru is going to start another facility in Kaware now for upgrading the iron ore, which is low grade, to the high grade, which will create jobs for 1,600 people. Now, regarding the job distribution, I want to advise Guru to be a bit, to broaden a bit, because the people of Kaware and you, the Bateso, be careful. Don't push things too far. You may cause us a problem. Because the Bachiga are saying we must follow our iron ore and get the jobs over there. Because the factory is supposed to be in the area, but we put it here, far away from the raw material, because of other economic factors. So when it comes to job distribution, please remember the Kaware people. You should sit down, we should sit and talk carefully. Don't run around too much with the Bateso. Be careful. You can cause us a problem. Especially the Kaware group needs to be accommodated. Now, this man, Guru, these Indians are also very religious people. This is what I normally tell my Christians, my wife and my daughters, who are very strong Christians. I say, you people, be careful. Don't think you are the only people of God. These Indians, I don't know what God they believe in, but what they do is what God likes. Because what Guru does here, I've got another boy called something. That boy is doing very good things. The investments, the corporate social responsibility, you see they are doing the work of God. As me, I am a Christian, a real one, not just talking. But I am not narrow-minded to only look at my life. But Jesus judged the people by what they did. We shall know them by their fruits. not just their words. So these Indians, I'm told Guru is like a reverend or something like that. Are you a bishop or what? He's a priest. He's a reverend Narendra. They are doing a good job, not only in this area, but also in other activities. Now I will support the railway siding to come to the factory. I will support it for sure. And I tell now the Deputy Prime Minister who is here, Rebecca Kadaga, to take it up straight away, how to bring a railway siding to the factory so that the items go from the factory to the railway and go to different parts. Now, what you Africans need to know is the power of the pocket, the purchasing power. You can imagine the money we are giving to foreigners. $500 million a year from Uganda to foreigners. This is a lot of support for them. Kenya, you have had $800 million. This is a lot of support. So if that money remains in our pocket, instead of giving it to others, we shall be much better off. So nobody should tell you that we don't have power. We have power, but we don't use it. The power of the pocket, purchasing power, is power. We have been buying Japanese vehicles ever since 1962, when we got independence. I started seeing Japanese vehicles here. Previously, we were using British vehicles. But with the independence, we started getting Japanese vehicles. And by the time we came from fighting Yamin, Japanese vehicles had taken over from the British and the German. So I talked to the Japanese, can you come and assemble your vehicles in Uganda? They were not interested. But now, we are making our own vehicles. Do you have them on the screen? You can show them. If you have them. The Chira motors. You don't have it. But we are making our own vehicles, electric vehicles, buses, other types, from beginning to end. So the Japanese now came and say, I want to assemble. I said, no, sorry, too late. I can't allow you. You lost your chance. Because assembling means you bring the same vehicle, knock down, and you just put it together here. The only saving is like 15%. But this shows you the power of the pocket. How much has Africa been spending on Japanese vehicles since 1962, when I started seeing these vehicles coming? It is very important that Africans really wake up and know their interests. I want to salute His Excellency Ruto. He's a real Pan-Africanist. Even other leaders of Kenya, I actually find them more Pan-Africanist than many of the others. Even Museveni, although sometimes we didn't agree, but when it would come to East Africa, he would be very, very East African. Museveni, Kibaki, His Excellency Uhuru, all of them are Pan-Africanists. But His Excellency Ruto, Pan-Africanist and also active in terms of implementation. So we are very lucky to have him in charge of Kenya. And And we are now, you can see the fruits now. Because this is the one who was encouraging Mr. Guru. Yes, Mr. Guru is private sector, but His Excellency Ruto was encouraging him. So we are going to move very far. You have heard what he has said about the pipeline. These roads, the transport system is now irrational. We need to rationalize it. Why is it irrational? Barabara, the road, they are small cars. There are railways carrying cargo. There are petrol tankers carrying petrol, all on the road. So we need to disaggregate, separate. Fuel pipeline, toko kwa barabara. You go through the pipeline. Mizigo, gari moshi. Mizigo mikubwa. The train. Barabara, light, cargo, and passenger. And you heard what he was saying about also the dual carriaging the roads instead of just two lanes. So I'm very happy with what His Excellency is doing on the pipeline. I thank him and congratulate him. We are going to co-invest in that one together, all the way up to the Congo border, so that we take. And even these people who steal fuel from vehicles, they will not have chance to steal because it is in the pipeline. Now, Garimoshi, the standard gauge railway. That one I want to congratulate him, moving from Naivasha to the border now. And we are already working here. So we are going to go up to Kampala, from Kampala to Bwera, Kasese, then to Rwanda, then South Sudan. So the future, what is happening here shows you that the future is very bright. Ebirungi ebisingawo binateera okutuuka. The good things are coming on the stream. So I want to thank His Excellency President Ruto. I want to thank Dr. Guru, and he's going to bring more investments. Now, regarding my people of Tororo, we have been disturbing Mr. Guru with the issue of land. This land is government land. You know, it was IATRO, East African Trypanosomiasis Research. Then, when we created the cultural institutions, some people say that the cultural institution came in, although we need to sort that one out. Because normally what I return to the cultural institutions were administrative centers, but not government research centers and so on. That one. So, but whatever it is, that's our internal matter. I actually want to refund Guru's money, the one he gave to some people. Some of my people here got money from Mr. Guru, and then now they are fighting over it. The one who got it, not the right one. This should be a matter between the government and the people. What the investor wants is free land for investment, not to engage in having quarrels with local groups. So stop going to Guru to ask for money. Come to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is there, the Deputy Prime Minister. We shall handle the issue of the land. I have handled it with the Tepeth of Moroto in Karamoja. They were disturbing our man there of cement. But the Tepeth, I paid them 40 billion shillings. Then I gave the land to the cement developer. This is the same formula here. Leave Mr. Guru alone. Don't go back there. Go to the Prime Minister. The land issue is between us, is among us, we Ugandans. What the investor wants, he has already done enough. Mutumuswara, omusajja alese sente, alese obukugu byonna yabirese. Kati mwagala kumutawanya ku kigambo ky'ettaka nakyo tolabawo kyewali kunani. So the man has brought money, has brought knowledge, technology. The land is ours, is our contribution. I don't want you to give it free, especially if the clan says they had come in. No problem. If you came in, we shall. How did you come in? Did you come in properly or what? But that's our internal matter. We shall sort it out. If you are to be paid, it would be us, government, to pay you. What he wants is the land, and his share, mchango wake ni pesa na utaalamu, ndio mchango wake. Mambo ya ardhi ya udongo ni jambo, ndio mchango wetu na sisi, bila kumsumbua. So with these few words, I want to congratulate everybody. I want to thank Mr. Guru for bringing this big money. You're going to invest how much? The man is going to invest $500 million here. Kati oyo gwe mutawanya bannange, oyo gwe mutawanya. Mutegeera Oluganda mulumanyi? Oluganda mulumanyi? Tetuyita okuswala. Omuntu akoze ekinene ng'ekyo ate ne mutawanya, munoonya busente. Mugerera gavumenti muve ku bagenyi abazze wano. And he has already helped us with the cement. He has got a very good track record. What he says, he does. I'm very happy with him. And I want him to bring more gurus. Are there more reverends there? Indian reverends. He's going to bring more reverends, Indian reverends. And I want to thank His Excellency Ruto for encouraging him and for being together with us. We are fully aligned with His Excellency Ruto on the issue of the Pan-African vision. With these few words, they are not so few. I thank everybody and I wish you good luck. Katonda ababeere.
Hello, may we stand up for the anthem?